Okay, hey, thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this video. We wanted to quickly review some of the differences and protocols and things that you're going to see this year as we start our youth lacrosse season. My name is Marty Westcott. I'm one of the directors of IMLAX. First, let me thank you guys for all that you guys do in terms of officiating and trying to make the game better. Obviously, we can't play the game without officials. We want to encourage you to continue to improve your skills, become the best that you can be, and most of all, keep the game fun and safe out there for the kids that are playing. We'll talk more about some of these things in particular as we go along here. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go through some rules and protocols for this season here. So give me just 1 second as I switch this over. And you should see on your screen a little PowerPoint that we're putting together. And this you can review. We'll send you this PowerPoint as well so you can review it at your leisure. But it just describes some of the rules and protocols that we need to follow for this year. So first of all, as we jump into this season and some of the requirements that we have as officials, make sure that you get your U.S. Lacrosse membership with an official designation. Contact U.S. Lacrosse if you're having problems with that, but you should be able to get a player/official designation through U.S. Lacrosse. Make sure you take the exams, both the National Federation of High Schools and youth exams. You have to pass those exams. And then make sure once you're ready and everything's completed that you check the ready to officiate box on the homepage in Arbiter. Block your schedule for availability in Arbiter, and then make sure that you are checking regularly for updates and things to make sure that you're seeing if there are new opportunities, announcements, or whatever that are made to the officials. Checking your email is the way that we communicate through Arbiter, so make sure, particularly you younger guys, make sure you're checking your email on a regular basis. Let's start with game format. There's a number of things that are going to be different this year. They should simplify a number of things for the officials, but they are different you want to be aware of. Basically, grades 2 through 8, we are playing 7v7. So there'll be 6 players in the field, 2 attack players, 2 midfielders, 2 defenders, and 1 goalie. K1s are the normal 4 versus 4 with no goalie. All teams must have a minimum of 7 players to play. And again, it gives every player a lot of playing time if they have fewer players. A lot of teams will have more players, and so you're going to see a lot of substitutions, but all substitutions are on the fly, and so you just need to let them sub at will. Games are going to be 2 20-minute halves, not quarters, but halves with a 3-minute running time halftime. So each game should be a total of 43 to 45 minutes long, getting teams on and off the field, that kind of thing. There's going to be no pregame or postgame handshakes or cheers. We're just not doing anything that's going to put people in contact with each other. So no pregame or postgame handshakes, cheers, any of that. And no timeouts. This is, again, partially just to keep social distancing so that we're not putting together groups of people in congregating together. So there's no timeouts, and games may end in a tie. There is no overtimes. So just to kind of, I should have probably prefaced with this, but the whole idea here is that we just are trying to get out and play lacrosse. The competitiveness and some of the other kind of focus that people have, on their lacrosse. We just want to get out and have a good time, play lacrosse, get out, run up and down. The 7v7 format is going to create a lot more playing opportunity for some players, a lot more touches for some players. It's going to be a faster game. It's going to get up and down. Without face-offs, we're probably adding 8 to 10 minutes of just playing time to the game because we're not walking up, doing the face-off, taking the time to set kids up, subbing on and off. There's actually going to be more playing time for kids. So we want to keep the game moving and keep it fast. So I just mentioned there will be no face-offs. The away team will get the first possession of the game. The home team will receive possession at halftime. So we'll talk about what happens after a goal scored in just a minute, but just give the ball to the away team for the first one. The home team gets it at halftime. There are offside rules in effect, so no more than 4 players on offense and no more than 5 players on defense at all times. Maximum of 3 long sticks on the field, so they can have 3 long poles. All subs are on the fly. We mentioned that. And rules for contact all remain in force. You can review the rules, as each level has different rules for contact. We're not changing any of those rules. We're just asking you to enforce those rules. Call the game tight. Keep it a fast, less physical game out there. Call it tight. If anything looks egregious, overly aggressive, unnecessary, targeting, all those things, make sure you understand the rules and call the game as the rules state for those age groups. Okay, so let's go to after a goal is scored. After a goal is scored, instead of running to the face-off X and doing a face-off, play is going to start with the ball at goal line extended. Any player can start with the ball at goal line extended. And what we're going to ask the official to do is move back and set a line at 10 yards from goal line extended. And then you can restart the game by blowing the whistle. So you're going to move the offensive players back to 10 yards, and then the defensive players or whoever has the ball at GLE can start once you blow the whistle. This will take some getting used to, but hopefully after a couple of times, you'll get a feel for it. After the goal is scored, defense can bring the ball out, start it anywhere on GLE. Any player can start it, doesn't have to be the goalie, and you can kind of set a 10-yard line, moving those offensive players back, and then the game will start on the whistle. If a team falls behind by more than 5 goals, then they can get the ball at midfield and they don't have to clear the ball. Infractions, all penalties are the same. All field lacrosse penalties are the same, just like we would play in 10v10. Penalties start once the whistle has begun play and the offending player has put his knee down in the penalty area. Penalties are 1.5 times. So if it's a 1-minute penalty, normally it's 1.5. It's a 30-second penalty, normally it's 45 seconds, just as we've normally done. The table releases the penalized players when their time's expired. And we just want to bring again to your attention that intentional body contact is illegal. That idea of a takeout check, putting guys on the ground, all that kind of stuff. And we've clarified that to the coaches and the players using the following documentation. We're not changing any rules. We're just asking that all the rules be enforced as they currently state. So making sure that you know the body checking rules for each age group is important, but make sure that we look at the definitions for illegal body checks, targeting, takeout checks, unnecessary roughness, illegal pushes, and illegal stick checks. So make sure that you understand those clearly and try to, as best you can, call those penalties when they occur. Now, understand there are many legal body checks. Like there are checks where you can make contact with the body. We're not saying this is no contact lacrosse. Boxing out, legal holds and pushes, equal pressure, incidental contact is not illegal. There are legal checks where people come in contact with each other, but we're just trying to make sure that we are very strict on the illegal body checks. We are inviting the players to really focus on other aspects of lacrosse, making sure that we're working on our skills, the speed, and the other parts of the game, take some of the physicality out, and really kind of focus on the idea of, hey, we're just happy to play right now, given the circumstances that we're enduring. A couple other notes. The field has no restraining box, so there's no keep it in or stall warning calls. There's also no 20 or 10 counts because there is no box. There is a 4-second count for the goalie. There will be a table. They'll perform their normal functions. And again, just by reminder, after a goal, it's kind of a quick start type situation. But again, we're going to have you set that line at 10 yards. You start once you feel like the appropriate distance has been given to the defense to clear the ball. We want to keep things moving along. The game, we want it to be fast. And again, we understand it might take a week or two to adjust, but do your best, keep it fun, keep it safe, and go from there. That's really kind of the game format changes that you're going to see. Again, all the rules are the same. We've just changed a little bit in terms of time, the field setup, the number of players, those kinds of things. Now, these are also things that you need to be aware of as officials on a lacrosse field, given the status that we have as a state. We are in a yellow status most everywhere. And so we do have some protocols that the state has required us to put into place. So a couple of things you want to be aware of. We will not have porta potties at the fields, and restrooms may be limited. We're basically subject to whatever restrooms are available at the field, but we're not putting extra porta potties out. There won't be any vendors, no clothing, food, anything like that. And we're trying to make sure that there's a representative at the field to assist in social distancing protocols. That will likely be the athletic trainer who is at the field they'll probably be the ones that are discussing and making sure that people are social distancing. That's mainly going to be on the fan side, but we are asking coaches also to keep your players separated as best you can in your huddles, on the sideline, bags, keep the kids 6 feet apart whenever possible. For officials, we are asking and recommending that you wear a mask to and from games. Obviously, you have a whistle in your mouth and you can't wear a mask during the game, but we're recommending that you wear a mask to and from games. Keep social distance on the field. Don't touch players or the ball unnecessarily. You don't have to pick up the ball. Players can pick it up with their stick. You don't need to. There's can't think of an instance where you need to be touching players. So make sure that you're maintaining social distance on the field while you're officiating. The field is shorter, so you don't have to run up and down the field as much. You're not having to run to the face-off X every time we score a goal. So the physical nature of officiating should be easier for you given this scenario. Please don't share water, sunscreen, whistles, anything like that. We are not going to be allowing stick checks, so you don't have to worry about checking some kid's stick, getting close to them during this time. And then you also will be required to go through the Health Shield text and SMS-based system prior to games. I failed to put that in the presentation before I started this recording. So we will send you the details around that, and I'll include it in the PowerPoint that we're going to send you. Basically what that is it's a text-based system that you have to quickly text a number, and it'll ask you 3 questions. And it's going to ask you about your temperature, have you had any symptoms, and are you in contact with anybody who's been diagnosed with COVID-19? And if you clear those questions, then you're allowed to proceed. If you don't, then you're not allowed to be on the field. So please make sure that you do that, and that's going to be before every set of games that you officiate. Please go through that Health Shield system. Again, we'll send you the details on it. It is very simple. It is texting in a number, and then you will get text to you response questions that you need to fill out. Just some protocols that you need to be aware of as well. Coaches are going to be asked to wear masks on the sidelines. It's likely that not everybody will, but we're asking them to do so. Symptoms, again, they need to be checked through the Health Shield text-based system. So all players and coaches are going to need to go through that system. We're asking coaches to, keep the huddles spread out, and that's why we have that's why we've gone with halves instead of quarters, so that we have fewer congregating teams. That's part of the reason we're not having timeouts, just to keep those opportunities where people are huddling together fewer and far between. Again, no handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, elbows. We're just making sure that people stay away from each other as best we can. No sharing water, sunscreen, mouth guards, sticks, any equipment, that kind of thing. We're asking people not to touch the ball with their hands where possible. Just use your sticks. No touching other players or teammates, players on the sidelines to maintain a 6-foot distance, and bags and team gear to remain a 6-foot distance. We just are asking everybody to do their best. Keep the distance where possible. And again, we will have an IMLAX official. Our effort is to have an IMLAX official at every location just to kind of help with that. Once games are done, we ask that everybody help clear the sideline immediately so that everybody can go and switch the next game coming on. As officials, if you're going behind the table or whatever, make sure you're keeping that social distance as well if you're getting water or whatever you're doing. Spectators are asked to, if possible, stay home, stay in the car. But if they're going to be on the sideline, we want to have a minimum 10-foot barrier off the sidelines. And then they will be asked to maintain a 10-foot barrier between groups, between family groups. We're asking that the mask be worn. We're asking that no physical contact outside of your household group. And then we're asking them to, be respective of yelling and getting too close to others when yelling. Obviously, one of the transmissions, the primary transmission of the coronavirus is through expectorant through the mouth. And so we want to minimize that through, having people not yell and getting in each other's face. And then obviously no pets as well. So those are some of the protocols that we are putting in place with officials, spectators, and coaches. One thing we want to really emphasize as we kind of get into this season is we're just happy to be playing lacrosse. We are the only league in the country that is playing lacrosse as a league this spring. Everybody else has canceled. We're able to kind of put something together, and we're just happy to be playing the game. We want to keep things fun. We want to keep it simple, safe. The 7v7 format is designed to keep it faster, simpler, just getting kids a lot of touches, getting kids a lot of up and down on the field. As you officiate, we ask you to do your best, keep the ego at home, and just help these kids have fun. If you ever have questions or whatever, please feel free to contact myself, or you can go through Bob Imhoff or Brendan McCullough as well to get some questions answered. But again, we kind of wanted to just really go through some of these protocols quickly, as this season will be a historic season. It'll be different than any other season that we've dealt with, and we want to make sure that we're doing our best to keep the players safe, make sure that you understand the protocols that are in place, and make sure you understand the rules that are different as we go 7v7 versus a normal 10v10 type of a scenario. If you have further questions, please let us know. We'll try to make sure that we continue to clarify things. If we have announcements that we need to make to you, they'll go through the arbiter system, and we'll put those out to all the officials as best we can. Again, we thank you for your efforts and in making the game better. And we really, if I can just kind of, from a league perspective, if there's one thing that we can ask the officials is, look, blow the whistle, blow the whistle. I'll take complaints about officials being too picky all day long. I'd rather have us be a little bit oversensitive than us having kids get hurt because we're not blowing the whistle. So with that being said, appreciate it. Again, just want to thank you all for officiating for us and allowing us to play this great game, and we'll see you out on the field.